Hi, welcome to the AEC Bar. My name's Lee Mullin and I'm here today to talk to you about the house building sector and how they're starting to adopt digital technologies. House building is an area where BIM hasn't really taken off as it has in maybe many other sectors. A lot of that is due to the perception that BIM only really works on big buildings. Well, actually, for house builders, it tends to be the opposite. They've got lots of repeatability in what they do. So if you look at large house builders, they may have 10-20 sites over the country, and in those 10-20 sites they're all using variations of a number of standard house types. That suits things like Revit particularly well because we can start to build in things like design options and then that repeatability of templates and repeatability of design options within those tools as well. It's an area where we think we've got tools that support a whole range of areas of the design through to planning, through to sales and marketing and construction and operations and handover in that area. So if you take those early stages with planning, a lot of house builders' time is spent trying to not only find the right piece of land, so bringing in what would be known as GIS data, geographical information systems data, into a place to then understand, what's that area going to be like, what house price is going to be like, what's the area like for crime, nearby schools, retail, those kind of things. But also then start overlaying additional data on top of that based on that particular house builder's information. What they then need to do is they need to go through a long series of planning applications, not only with local councils and local government, but also with local residents, so that they understand how a construction site is going to look, what the end result is going to be, and that all the concerns of the local residents have been taken into account. So we think we've got tools like InfraWorks which really support that and really visually tell the story in a way in which 2D plans just can't. They need a certain amount of interpretation. Then when we go into the design phases, we've got items like Formit, which allow you to do conceptual house design at a really early stage and bring that into a Revit environment. And then also when you're in Revit, you can then start taking off your drawings, your schedules, your legends, all of those kind of things, just by creating a 3D model in one environment. So therefore any changes that need to be made are only made once, as opposed to being made on multiple programs, which is something we see quite a lot with people in the AutoCAD world, where they're having to update each one of those elevations, sections and master plans as well. Then when we go into sales and marketing, there's higher demands from customers. Customers are asking for quite a lot more. They're able to go home and now start putting on Oculus Rifts and HTC Vives and going into a virtual reality environment. If you go into a site cabin next to a construction site of what's going to be a future housing development, you want to be able to visualize what's your house going to look like, what's your view going to be, what's going to look like when you do have that tiling or those carpets or that different house layout. So moving into a VR world, moving into just even more interactive 3D visualizations is really important, and then how that information then feeds back during the sales process back into the design will then allow the contractors to build the correct house first time. And then house builders, they typically have a lot of the same problems that any other contractor does. How do you digitize what is typically quite a manual, analog type process? So being able to track any issues that come up onto site, ensuring people have the latest versions of the drawings, managing things like workloads, materials, deliveries, all those kind of things can be aided by tools like BIM 360, particularly field, and then you're able to then see across your 10-20 sites across the country which ones are performing well, which ones aren't, which ones do you need to maybe spend more time with additional training. And then what we can now do is we can take those data sets once they've been fully commissioned out in the field, so all your boilers with your serial numbers and warranty information, we can then take that into an operations phase. We're using BIM 360 Ops, and that can be done in a matter of minutes as opposed to potentially months, which has probably put a lot of people off in the past. So we think we've got quite a lot in the area which supports house builders, and what might previously have been seen as BIM as overkill for a two-story house is now making a lot more sense, because we can see this end-to-end process of how you're reusing that design data. So whether you call it digital construction or BIM, I think you'll find this quite a lot for house builders. Any questions? If you want to ask the AEC Bar at autodesk.com. If you want to like this video, and then you'll see there's quite a lot more on the AEC Bar channel, and we'll see you in the next video.